we've started.
Okay, so the time has finally come to launch our community tool. We heard about a year ago, or for a while actually, we've been hearing from a lot of folks in the community that there was a need to see what issues other folks were having, what bugs they were putting in, what features they were requesting. And over the past few years, the community has also expanded to include multiple support organizations. So it made sense to have a tool that we all share so everyone can see what everyone is requesting and what everyone is working on. So in the fall of 2024, a group was formed, the Community Tools Working Group, to put together, to basically select a tool. So that group put together specifications. We matched those specifications against 3 different tools, had a big discussion, and finally chose Jira. Jira is one of the standards within the software development industry. I've used it personally on 2 other projects. It's very, very wide adoption and a very strong feature set. It's also quite expensive, but because Aspen is open source, we get a free license as well as free support. And I've tested that free support. I know that Tara was testing that free support just over the past few weeks, and they've honestly been phenomenal, like much better than I would expect for anyone that's giving us free support. So since that tool was selected, the Community Tools Working Group has spent about the last 6 to 8 months or so configuring Jira and working with other community groups to make sure that it's meeting their needs. So for example, the developers group to make sure it works with many different use cases. We've also been using it as it is live and configuring it as we go along. So just thank you to everyone who has provided feedback and who has helped us learn this together. So today we're ready to kind of officially roll it out. We have some demos for you. We've done some documentation, and we'd love to see as many of you using this as regularly as possible. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Trisha.
Hi, everyone. I'm actually going to share my screen, so give me just a second. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to assume, okay, cool, thank you. So in the agenda, we have the community tools document drafts. I'm going to talk about this, and then you also have your Jira access links and your Confluence access links. So if you do not have a login to this, go ahead and click on these, and once there, you'll be able to register. When you click on the community tools guide, it's going to take you here. We do have information on the side on how to request a Jira account. This is the Confluence tool of Atlassian, and this is where all of the documentation about Jira is going to be located to try and keep it all in the same place. We also have navigation, we have searching, and then how to add different work issues, work items. Those are going to be here as well. If I go back to the main page of the community tools guide, there is a link to Jira. So right now the community tools guide is open to anyone. You don't need to have a login to be able to access it. Jira, you can access, but it's going to look a little different. So if you don't have an account, you're not logged in. I'm currently not logged in, but I can see all of the tickets here. However, if I am logged in, it looks a little bit different. I have the community tools guide here. I can click over here, and it's going to open a little bit differently where I'm going to have some options on the left. So we can see it a little different. We can see different assignees, reporter, the priorities. You can see the status. Over here, we have different projects. So we can view all of our projects. We have the question triage board and the Aspen discovery board. So these are going to be your main places where you're going to go. You have to be logged in and you have to have an account in order to create a ticket. So that's the biggest reason why you might be able to view, you might be able to see things, but you'll have the most access and the most streamlined views if you have an account. So this is where you create your ticket. You can do your question, bug, enhancement, which I think is going to be covered a little bit later. Jordan is going to talk a little bit about the Kanban board, but I do want to also mention there is an all work board. This is your main one. If you link over from the community tools guide. So you can use that link, but you can also, if you're logged in, you have these 4 boxes at the top where you can navigate between Confluence and Jira. And when you do, this is where it's going to bring you to this main page of projects where you'll just click on Aspen Discovery and you're gonna be able to have your views from there. So I'm gonna let Jordan talk about the Kanban board and the different views that are in here. And I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Jordan.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna share my screen. Just a second. There we go. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen now, and this is the Kanban board that Trisha was talking about, and you'll hear some people say Kanban, some people say Kanban. It's all kind of the same. This is primarily a developer view, and the goal of this is just to kind of show where different work items, or you'll hear us say Jiras, or you'll hear us say tickets. We kind of call them a whole bunch of different things, where they are in progress. So these columns at the top show where they are in the development cycle, and then everything that's being worked on has a little card down here. And then all of the information for how that is, for everything that's going on with that issue will display in this card. So typically when you enter a ticket, you have a description. The videos that we've done are in here, comments, and then there's also different tabs for the developers that are working on it and the different teams. And then as QA happens for a test scenario. So again, mostly for developers, but if you're curious what's going on with a ticket or with a Jira, you can see that here. This board can be organized in a couple different ways. So by default, and this will open by default usually too when you log in, it's organized by team. So you can see the Grove team and everything that they're working on right here. If I close that, you can see like the Open Fifth team and everything that they're working on. If you're curious to see what a specific developer is working on, personally, I just kind of leave it this way. You can go over to this button over here, which with groups, and you can group it by assignee. So whoever is working on it. And then if we wanted to see, for example, everything that James is working on, we can see everything that James is working on. If you don't particularly care about who's working on something or the team that's working on something, you can kind of see everything all together. It's this one. And it's just taking a minute to update. Hopefully. There we go. Oh, sorry, I did it by stories. So stories is when we have subtasks. We don't actually do that a lot, but let's do none. Then I think we're just gonna see everything only in the statuses, everything all mixed together. Yeah, so for me, this is a little bit overwhelming. I like to see it by team or by individual, but if you're curious, everything that's being worked on right now, you can come here and check it out. So that is the Kanban board, and I'm going to hand it over to Tara.
Hey there, I'm gonna show off how a couple strategies to search. I'm sharing my screen right now. Hopefully you are seeing my screen. Are you still seeing? Okay. Sorry, I moved my screens around. So this is the all work view that you would also see if you're not logged in. And as a note, right now, anyone, right now and forever, anyone can get an account in Jira that would like one. There is a bug that's preventing users from creating their own. So as Trisha pointed out, just tap that link for the invite, and we'll have to update those invite links monthly. They expire, so we'll just do our best to keep those links going until that bug is resolved, so that anyone can create an account that they would like. But even if you don't have an account, you can see this all work view that Trisha touched on earlier. And that will allow you to see all of the Jiras that are currently open. And you've got a couple options to search within all work. So I'll show a couple of these, and then I'll also show how to search through the list view. That is a view that you only have if you are logged in, and it will preserve some of your search filters. So that can be really handy if you're in here a lot. So just like any keyword search, you can type in your keywords. Oops, I hit masquerade a little too soon. And that's just taken a minute to update there. So now we can see tickets related to masquerade mode. You can scroll through those if you like. And then you have several filter options. You can filter by assignee. So if you happen to know the developer that's working on a particular ticket, you could filter that way. I'm going to leave that open for now. And you can also filter by type, bug, enhancement, or question. Again, I'm going to leave that open just for now. You can also filter by status. So if we would just like to see those things that are currently in development, we could add that, and we just have one there. And you can also clear any of these selections. I will say sometimes the clear link is in some various places depending on where you are in Jira. So just keep an eye out for that. I'm going to clear that one. And then this is the good stuff for us, in my opinion, is all going to be under more filters. One moment here. I think it's still updating my status filter there. There's a few filters I was going to show off while this is loading. One of them is we can filter by Aspen component, which I find really useful. Here we go. So there are quite a lot of options. But a few to point out here. The bug severity was just added, I believe, this week. So I'm not sure if there's much in there. If you use that filter for now, the component filter is super helpful. The Aspen team is going to be what Jordan just showed on the Kanban board. And then I also really like to use the, and again, it's just helpful to search as well. You can search by fixed version. And that will allow you to see what's going to be in a particular version. So if I just do a search for 25.06, then I can see what is going to be in this upcoming release that's related to masquerade mode, which is pretty cool. And then I'm going to clear that filter out and add one for component to show that off here. Once you click on that, you get all of the components in Aspen. So lead is always a good one to filter down if you just want to see what action is happening in our app. So I know I've got a couple other filters applied here. So I think that's just, or I've got the masquerade mode search. So this is the only Jira for masquerade and leader right now. So that's the all work view. And I should also note there's a few other options for viewing your search results. There's this detail view, which is going to show you, will look a little more exciting if I close out of some of my filters there. It'll kind of allow you to browse through the meat of some of these Jira work items a little more easily. But the list is nice for getting through a lot of results at once, in my opinion. I'm going to show the list view here. It does look quite a bit different, especially when you're filtering. So if I do some of those same searches here, you'll see masquerade. And I've got a filter applied already. So I had that set, and it is for, it can be a little bit tricky to, to see what they're for, but I have a fixed version filter saved. So I could close this out individually, or I could also clear out my keyword search here. to see everything again in the release. And I could also limit by assignee, the created date, um, who reported it. If I wanted to filter, this could be nice if you want to filter to your own tickets that you reported. And maybe I want to see what's some of the new stuff, what's some of the enhancements. I could filter there and see the enhancements that are going to be in this release. So that's a quick overview of searching, and I am going to turn it over to Miranda to talk about how to add a ticket.
Right. I'll start sharing once the other share ends.
Oh, I lost my, here we go. I lost my tools. Sorry, I have 3 screens going.
Yeah, I'm scared I'm about to lose my like end share button. All right, let me pick the right window here. All right, so I'm starting logged out, like some others have shown you just for ease here. So if you want to actually get adding content into the Jira, you have stuff to report or questions to ask. You will need an account. If you are not logged in and you're looking at Jira and you click this create button, you can. It'll tell you you can't create issues in the project without an account. And you'll see that the buttons are not an option. So let's log in. It's the same login icon that Aspen uses up in that corner. So I'm going to log in. Hopefully 1Password does this thing fast, and it did. Okay, so that like I'm in pretty quickly. I use dark mode. I will probably be the only person demoing in dark mode, I think, but I'm not switching, just so you know that they have it. All right, so I am back. After I log in by default, it usually sends me to this Your Work page. So all the stuff that I've touched or I'm looking at. The cool thing is wherever you are in Jira, you will see the same navigation at the top and the option to create will be there. So no matter where you end up after logging in, you'll still get that create button. So let's open that up. You'll get a modal. It is a scrolling one and you will have a lot of options. Don't get overwhelmed. The crucial stuff for you, the bare minimum I would say is you need a title. You can't submit without that. We really want a description. Like, please give us some more information in addition to that title. And then make sure you're picking the work type. So let's start with work type. We have 3 types that we've limited it down to, hopefully to make it easier. The question, if you just have a question to pose to the community, and there is a triage group that meets every 2 weeks to look at those. So it might not be quick, or if someone is perusing before that group meets again, they might answer it sooner, but it's about like every 2 week cycle that those are reviewed. If you want to ask a question there, I am going to pick bug for my work type. When I loaded in, you could see that it was set to enhancement. There is a default type if you've never submit one before, but Jira will remember the last thing you put in. So you'll notice that value changing for you once you have a Jira account. And that's just telling you the last thing I put in was an enhancement and not a bug. But we're going to put in a bug right now as my example. Status you usually don't have to worry about unless that thing is already in development. So say you're a developer, you started working on something and you didn't realize it wasn't in Jira yet. You're probably the only ones that are going to go in here and be like, okay, let me put this in development like immediately, just so people know that I'm working on it. So I was real bug hunting yesterday and I found something. So this is for real. This needs to be reported. So I was getting an Ajax error opening search tools at smaller viewport sizes. And so that is the huge description. I would say don't worry about it getting too long. I like to be as specific as possible while still being brief. If you just say like Lita issue or something, like that might not be super descriptive or make it easier to find later. So I would recommend being as specific as possible as you can with your summary, which will become the title. I already wrote up a description. So this is a juicy one. This is not overachieving, but this is, I would say, pretty good, where I'm describing what I saw. I went in DevTools, so I got some information for devs for them. I did, if you're not me, you might not have a segment where you're talking about crying to Mark about it, which I already did. But since I have that information, I'm going to put it in here and put that description. And then since it's a bug, something helpful for bugs is always steps to reproduce. So like, what did I do to get me to see this? And all right, let's go to components. Again, components is probably the scariest one because there's so many options. I would say don't overthink it, but also don't worry because you can always edit it after you create it also. So if you get it wrong or it's not, like, don't worry about it. So for this one, I'm gonna do interface updates, usability, and it's technically not like searching as in like Solar or a searching issue, but I saw it in search results. So I'm just gonna pick searching. Like, let's not worry about it. If this was related to something, and I knew about it, I could then link to that. So I have something open. Let's just pretend it's related to this, and I could add that here. And I'm going to leave that for now, and we're going to pretend it's related, so you just can see what it looks like on the other end. If you were already working on it or someone was already working on it, you could assign it here. This you're probably not going to use. Just leave it for blank if you don't know. We don't use labels yet in Jira, so ignore that. And I found this yesterday in 2506. So that's what I'm going to pick for my found version, just so devs know where I saw it. It might not be the oldest version where it is, but it's the oldest version that I saw it as the reporter. Um, and if there was a sponsored fix, you could shout someone out here. Sometimes your additional fields will be hidden under this more field. So this is just Jira telling me you don't use these fields a lot, so we're just going to hide them by default. But there are sometimes fields in there. Sometimes I like to submit videos if I can't really explain well what was happening. And so I might attach that as an attachment here. If that yeah, if that's applicable. For bug severity, we just added this. I'm going to go normal on this one. We do have a link for the descriptions for these. And a dev can quibble with me if they don't think it's normal, but I think it's normal. And if you are at a library, you could either add your library and select it here, or oh, someone not muted. Okay, there we go. Or you could just leave it blank. I'm not an org, so I am not a library impacted. So if you wanted to, say you have a list, say it's the test period and you found like 6 bugs, you can rapid fire keep adding stuff. So you could hit create another and it would open another view for you to keep entering more bugs. But I'm just gonna go with create here. And you'll get this message that it created this. So I'm going to go view it so we can see what it looks like. My window shrunk down, so it's not super amazing. So you can see the summary becomes the title. I got assigned a unique number for that issue. This number is going to be super useful. It's what you're going to want to use to like talk to people about it. And you'll see that that linked item, this isn't real, like appears at the bottom though, but I can always remove it. So say you added that in error and you can always remove it. As you're doing stuff, after or as things go through the dev cycle, you can add links and other things. So if there's documentation, I tend to add the Help Center link to the issue for people here. You can do that. You can always link it to a work item. If you're like, actually, no, that is related. Again, let me add that back. You can always do that with this add option, or at some views, you'll see a little plus sign and you can add stuff there for linked items as well. These other tabs are going to be more useful as things go through the dev cycle. But it's possible you'll know some of this stuff up front and you can add it there also. And that is what adding a basic issue looks like. Really fast, I'm just going to show you the question one as well, just because we're expecting a lot less with this one. So for this one, if you have a question, let me swap to it. You really just need your question as the summary and then any other details if you have them. And then the triage group will take a look at it. So I actually did have a question yesterday. And I'm just going to put this in. And we're gonna overachieve and add an image too. For context, and don't worry about anything else and just create that question. And we can still view it just like we would any other issue, but this is going to show up on that questions Kanban board instead. And when you have an attachment, it'll make a separate section too. And yeah, that's basically adding items to Jira. Go for it. And go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we're opening it up for any questions. I did have a comment on automations, though, since we didn't touch on this just during the demo. There are some things that happen automatically in Jira that we've set up. So when you enter a new issue, the status, unless you change it to something else, will be new. We want to be able to differentiate new things from things that have been hanging out for a while. So after 45 days, anything in a new status will switch to backlog. If you see that on one of your issues, it's nothing to do with you. It's just the way that we keep our eyes on the new things. And it wasn't even a human that's doing it. You'll get a little email that says that it was automatically updated. The bug severity that Miranda showed you, that will probably be mandatory for submitting bugs in the future, but you saw that little I don't know. So if you don't put something in that field, it's not going to let you submit a bug. But if you're not sure and you don't understand the definitions, put I don't know and someone will evaluate it for you. There are other automations for developers, specifically around like adding QA notes and things like that. But if you're a developer, you should know those from the developer meeting. And if you're not, then don't worry about those at all. They won't impact you. So any questions?
I've got two screens going, so now I got terrible echo. um, I asked in the chat, is there a way to save a search if you're logged in? And I was wondering if somebody could demo that really quickly, depending on how easy that is.
I could probably do it. Question mark. Let me see. Let me get it set
I
up.
think I can as well. Yeah, go ahead, Miranda.
All right. Because I do this for, I already have one saved, but hold on. Actually, Jordan, you do it. Mine, I'm having issues, I think.
Okay. Demos on the fly are super fun. Working on sharing my screen right now. Okay, so let's go to, I just went to all work and now I'm going to just narrow it down somehow. Oh, it's giving me fun new feature things. Let's change our status to new so we can see anything that's been added in the past 45 days. And then just give it a second to catch up. And then you see it's really easy. You can see the save filter button right here. That's all you have to click. It's being a little slow. I don't know if everybody's on Jira right now or what it is, because I've seen it slow with others too, but give it a second. Oh, I guess we'll wait. Okay, so if you're saving a filter, oh, sorry. It's one of those things where the delay is so bad you click and then it does something else. Okay, I'm not going to touch anything for like 2 seconds. Make sure we're here. Okay, so this is going to be all new work items, which is technically what Jira calls them. And then I can add a description. So we just added in the last 45 days. And then you can choose who can see it and who can edit it. So there's anyone in the project, and this is one project, so everyone using this is in the same project. We are not using really groups or organizations right now. You can do it public, so it's public to everyone, and I'm forgetting what user is. Okay, you can make it available to specific users. So it could be, I could build this for Miranda if I wanted to. And then you can do the same for people that edit it. So I'm the only one that can edit it. I think this means Miranda, and I can view it and I can save. And then if I go to filters, you can see the one that Sierra talked about creating. I have my own Grove issues and various iterations, Symphony issues, reported by me issues that I'm washing. There's others that have been made public that you can see down here that are recent. You can also, let's see. You can view all filters. Just for time, I won't click into that, but there's a whole bunch you can do with filters. It's also, if you want to do things like build dashboards or the way that we built those rows within the Kanban that I showed you for the different teams, those were all built using filters. So saving filters and then you can end up using them in other places. And if there's a desire to do a more advanced session on some of the advanced features in Jira, we could also do that.
Thank you. That is super simple. I appreciate the demo.
All right, any other questions? All right, if not, I think we can stop the record.